It's another original BW Sports 1 production.
Pew pew!
What is the good word? All is well. What is happening? This is the Dukes of Football. This is your man's TheOne, bringing you some awesome football talk today on Thanksgiving Eve. This is one of my favorite holidays of the year. Why? I tell you why. Because I like to eat, and Thanksgiving is the holiday for the eatings. And yes, I'm sure those computers ask me questions if I'm sure. Of course, I'm sure. But yes, this is Thanksgiving Eve, and once again, the Duke of Football is back to talk to you about football, walking into your favorite holiday of eating food and watching football. So you got to have them together, because then the favorite holiday for eating would be probably 4th of July. So you already know. But I have been nice today because I was going to start the show off with just Hail to the Victor's theme song or fight song, but I chose to be diplomatic today, and I'll just be, you know, doing what I usually do, dressed in maize and blue. If I was a rhymer, I would have to write that lyric down because it was fire. But anyway, so I am plugging into the web because I am pulling up a NBA game. I have been watching basketball for days on end. So this is my break from watching hoops for about 35, 45 minutes. And then I'll get right back to watching hoops. But out of all this goodness, I have also been doing some cooking. So my cranberry sauce is done. So that has a 3 day shelf life. So you can make that 3 days ahead of time. So we're doing our Thanksgiving on Friday, because a lot of people in the Weiss family is in the medical thing, and you can't round them down on Thanksgiving or something like that. So we're gonna be doing that then. So my cranberry sauce is in refrigeration mode at the moment. If you wanted to know, it was 12 ounces of um, cranberries, what a 3/4 cup of sugar, half cup of water, half cup of orange juice, cinnamon stick, orange peel, and a pinch of salt. Let all that come to a boil. And then bring it to a simmer. Let your cranberries begin to pop a little bit and stir frequently, and then let them rest. And then you'll see your cranberry start to solidify. None of that foolishness that you would do on popping a can and watching it slide out like dog food. So you don't do that. So obviously the cranberries is done. Can't have cranberries without good turkey. So the turkey is in the brine right now for its 24-hour soak before it hits the smoker. We got the brisket getting ready for all of these things for Thanksgiving, my favorite. And what else do you do on Thanksgiving besides watch all of the NCAA basketball tournaments, Maui Classic, what else? So much other stuff on there. So, yeah. Hey, Big Ben's in early today. Red and black attack. Let's go, Georgia. This dude is starting off the show already. And apparently, there it is. He started off already. What's up, B? Oh, more stuff. Everybody's popping in now. Didn't make it home yet, bro. Oh, Lord. Nobody want to hear that mess. But anyway, where was I? I was talking about food. Yes, so I got food in. So I will be planning on cooking and chilling and relaxing all day tomorrow, watching football. I think I'm going to fry up some catfish nuggets for tomorrow and leave all the Thanksgiving food for Friday. I don't want to spoil it, but I might sneak over to somebody's house and steal a plate. Who knows? But anyway, I guess it's time to get to what you've all came here for, and that was to hear me ramble on about football. So Thanksgiving weekend brings something special here to the state of Indiana. So what happens in the state of Indiana on Thanksgiving weekend? It is the state finals. So we have all whittled down over the last few weeks all of the state high schools and all of the 6 classes. We've been through the sectionals and the regionals and the semi-state, and we've now come to the end of the road. Your journey is not yet complete for one team in all of these divisions. So I guess we'll talk about it right now. This is your shining moment. For some of you, this is the achieving moment of your sports career. So 6A, state championship. Let's see, the 6A class, you got Crown Point 13-0 going against multi-state champion Ben Davis Giants here in the Metro City area. In the 5A class, you got Fort Wayne Snyder 12-1, which is a beautiful campus up there at the east side of Fort Wayne. And then you going against the local guys, another local metropolitan area high school in Decatur Central. We're going to send a good shout out to Decatur Central. We have a niece of ours on the cheerleading squad, so she's going out to do her part for the Decatur Central. So good luck to those guys. Let's see, 4A class, we got Northwood at 12-2 going against East Central at 14-0. Class 3A will be another local spot at one of the Catholic private schools. You got Bishop Sattar going against Heritage Hill, 14-0 versus 13-1. How do you play 14 games in high school? No. They must have had an out-of-state schedule. I'm not really sure. But anyway, Class 2A, you got another Fort Wayne school, Bishop Lures, 11-3, going against North Posey, 13-1. And following up, you have your Class 1A game at Adams Central, 14-0 against another local private school, Indianapolis Lutheran. So the local metropolitan area is representing well in the state run for football here in Indiana. Once again, congratulations to all of you guys, you young men who have given up a lot to be in this position that you are to compete for what so few have gotten. Listen, I know how hard it is to get a state ring. I've tried. We competed, but we always fell up short. But there is a state ring in my bloodline, regardless of however it's there. He's got one, and we're going to proclaim it. So there is a state champion in the Thomas family. Who knows? There might be one more shot at a state run for the Thomases. So here we go. But there you have it. Those are the 6 games that will be played over a 2-day period, Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday evening. So you got great football if you not going to the movies or, anything like that. You want to see some good local football, go check some of these guys out. You're going to see some good stuff. Let's see. What do you got here? East Central is tough again. 9 regular season, Yeah, you could have logged in and said all this, you person. I'm just giving him a hard time. He was out doing awesome stuff. Let's see here. 9 regular season, 3 sectionals, regionals, semi-state equals 14. Okay. I'll give you 14. That makes sense. But then you got 13. Crown Point is at 13. Ben Davis is at 13. Fort Wayne Snyder's at 13. So did they not get a double bye? That's okay. I can see that because Adams Central is at 14. All right, never mind. It doesn't matter. Let's see. Your white brother has one. This dude, it is 116. No, it's 136% African, like the coastal kind, like the lightest of the light. All right, enough of the ridiculousness. Let's get back to why you all come here for me to ramble on about football. So we've talked about high school basketball. So I guess it's time for some NCAA. So that means we're going across the NCAA. Let's see, what do we got here? First up, let's see, James Madison takes its first loss of the season. There was the story outside of the story. For the most part, everybody's talking about Deion and Colorado. But who was sliding under the radar was James Madison. I know Dan and I mentioned him earlier in the season when they first hit the rankings earlier in the year. I think it was 24 when they debuted about, I think it was week 5, somewhere around there, right before the CFP poll started coming out, which I looked up to see if it was the first time they had been ranked. And then I read into it a little bit, but they was actually ranked towards the end of the year last year. But this is their second full season as a FBS school and not the second level school. So I can't forget it, or the FBS, FBF and the I don't know, whatever it is. But as you know, they've been having some discussions over the last few weeks if the NCAA should, make exceptions or change policies. But, when you're switching over to the main level or the top level of college collegiate football, you have to be there. You have to be a team 3 seasons before you're eligible for a bowl win. So the NCAA came out earlier in the week, and, gave their almighty NCAA ruling saying that it's going to hold up, that they cannot compete in the bowl game regardless of however the record is. So, but going into last week, they were undefeated, but they were going against a team who was in their similar situation a couple years ago. We Michigan fans are very familiar with this team, which is Appalachian State, who came over. Yes, I know what size battery takes the power of the big house, 1AA. Yes, I get it. We've all heard it before. But anyway, so Appalachian State actually took down James Madison at James Madison. I know they were at College Game Day, and I think it was one of the biggest crowds on site for College Game Day history. So shout out to the smart kids up at James Madison in Northern Virginia. Great job, great showing, great football game. I did peek in on it a little bit. But this James Madison is a really good football team. They have a quarterback that you're probably going to see playing on Sunday. So if you got a chance, check them out. Let's see. Next up, it's terrible news. I don't know if you guys were watching the Florida State football game, but the quarterback goes down with a pretty bad knee injury. If you haven't seen it, I would not suggest you go look at it because it is one of those type of injuries that you don't want to see ever. What was that sound? That sounded like I might have been low. Am I low on battery in the ears? I am not. Okay, so that was just some other kind of sound. But anyway, so terrible injury. I would not suggest you go back and see it. You don't like to see a young man or anybody take an injury like that. I wish him for a speedy recovery. I don't expect him to, well, obviously he won't be back this season. I really don't expect him to come back next season. That was not a very good positive looking injury, the way it, lack of a better term, flopped around, so to speak. So I'm looking to see him. What is that noise? Who is going down? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll figure it out eventually. Everybody seems to be plugged in. I don't know. We'll keep it moving. I don't really need to hear myself if my headphones go out anyway, so I'm only talking to me. So we'll keep moving on. Florida State. They did drop in the polls. It's a bad drop for the simple fact. I don't think it's a bad drop. I know you have to factor in the fact that he got hurt and he was a big part of their offense. But I agree with a lot of the panelists saying that what Washington has done probably is the reason why they jumped him. Yeah, you got to factor in their quarterback in that situation too, but I think Washington's body of resume should, you know what I mean? So I'm not angry with them jumping Florida State. I guess I can just show that to you, huh? That would be kind of cool if I did that. There you go. So, there's, you see there, Florida State, Michigan, Washington jumping Florida State. Now, a lot of my people are not going to like what I say it, but if you use Washington's body of work to jump Florida State, then why didn't you use Washington's body of work to put them in the number 3 spot if you're looking at body of work? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not oblivious to the schedule that we play, but I'm not oblivious to the fact of the schedule that OSU or Georgia has played. Yeah, they have a couple ranked wins ahead of us, but when we win on Saturday, that puts us with 2 wins too. But if you look at Washington's body of work, they've had, the last 7 games in a row have been all against ranked opponents in the Pac-12. So this is the question. I'm happy where we sit, but I just feel that if you're going to use that scenario to bump Washington above Florida State, then you might as well send them all the way up because their body of work technically is better than everybody else's on the board. It would be Washington, Texas, and then the rest of them if you go off body of work. But so, yeah, that's what I got with Florida State. We'll see what they can do. I know it was Northern Florida or Alabama, whoever they played where he got hurt. I know they came back and won that game convincingly. But what happens further, when you have to play in the ACC championship game against a very good Louisville team? I had the fortune of speaking to one of the reserve receivers over the weekend at a party that I was at. But they seem pretty fired up. They've been pretty excited. They're well prepared. So this is an opportunity for Louisville to kind of stake their claim in some conversations in New Year's Six Bowls. Let's see if we're sticking with the rankings and we're talking about these guys. Both Michigan and Washington both survived their games over the weekend. Michigan, the whole thing with them is, yes, they've been dominant all year, but you've been dominant against basically 1 AA opponents. You did beat Penn State. You didn't throw a pass in the whole second half. Yeah, it was impressive that you were able to run the ball like that over a top 10 or top 5 defense at that time. But you're still going to have to throw the ball. You come up against a Maryland program who you always seems to have issues with over the last couple of years with Maryland and their wide outs and over their wide open offense and their aggressive style has been because we had to win on a field goal last year. So this is a tough game coming in, and J.J. McCarthy still didn't look very sharp. It gives me a small concern, but not too much of a concern going into this weekend's game. But I would be something to pay attention to with the fact that, the offenses look kind of sluggish when your opponents have gotten a little better. You know what I mean? One on the defensive side, you haven't let anybody score in the third quarter. That changed over against the Maryland game. The last 2 games, were we 11-0? First 9 games of the season, no one hits. You only have one team in the red zone one team inside the 10 until the last two games, and then it was like maybe 7 or 8 times combined that these guys have been inside the red zone, inside the 10. Last week you gave up 2 touchdowns. So there is a concern because this OSU team is a high-powered offense, but yet they still haven't been unproven as well. Both Georgia and Ohio State, cannot say that this week. Both Georgia and OSU both win handily. Minnesota, not really that much of a challenge. We dealt with them as well. Georgia, just being Georgia, they're stating their claim on. I don't know why we keep overlooking the fact that we're 2-time national champions, and you're just gonna pass us up like that. Their quarterback, Steed, I think it is getting better. Brower's back. They all improved all around the board when he was out. So I don't expect anything less from Georgia, but I'm telling you that SEC championship game is going to be on fire. Alabama and Georgia. You got the old guard still trying to hang on, trying to fight back, and then you got the new guard in Georgia trying to just let their name just stay claimed that they are the kings of the SEC and the kings of the country right now. You can't really argue with them. They're, 30 games in a row right now. It's miraculous what they've been doing over there. So you got the biggest game of the week this week, which happens to be rivalry week. So you got all of the big games for pride games, so to speak. You know what I mean? When you get into these rivalry games, like you got, the Iron Bowl with Alabama and Auburn, which is class is something you look forward to Thanksgiving weekends when it comes to these times for your football games. This is where your passion comes in if you're a fan, alumni, a current student. This is where you talk your most shit to your friends, in a fun kind of way, who are against you. Like we talked about the Iron Bowl here in Indiana. We have the Ole Oak and Bucket with Purdue and IU. These schools and these type of rivalries go beyond just football. These rivalries go through whatever sport that they're doing. There are rivalries in your office. Like I'll see some people at my wife's Christmas party here in a couple of weeks that are OSU fans. And first thing I say to them before I say hello, go blue. That's just how you do it. These are those type of games. So, and another one, you got the, the Apple Cup out west with, Washington and Washington State. So there's some good games going on over there, and we're going to have some good games to get picked. Let's see. What else going on in college? I know we talked about them a little bit ago, but, I'm going to talk about it all kind of time. It's Michigan. It is my show, and I'm going to talk wherever I want to. That's unfair. But, yes, Michigan reaches the milestone that no other football program, association has ever done, and it'll be a while before it is reached again. The next closest to us in that capacity would be OSU. I think it's like 960 games. So that's 1,000 wins for us when it comes to football. It's the most in history. I think out of those 1,000 wins, I think 70 of them. No, it might be more than that against Ohio State. And I said at that time because we were dominating. But anyway, so there you have it. That's Rivalry Week. That's what we got for college. I guess we'll slide over to our college games that we have picked for the week. So we got Doc Sports, BW Sports Network, NCAA Picks of the Week, brought to you by Doc Sports. Text hashtag BW Sports 229-022 for your free cash in picks. So make sure you check those guys out. If you're looking for some help with placing your bets, or you're looking for help when trying to decide what you want your bets, why don't you check out our man Rafael Esparza on all of his social media pages, and you can bet that he'll guide you right through, show you some prop bets and things like that. And then you can place those bets on mybookie.ag. Those are our friends over there. So let's get going on these college picks. Let me find my mouse. It's running over. By the way, here are the standings for the network personalities picks. I am still holding strong at the number one spot as we getting down to the nitty gritty of these last races. Like I mentioned last week, I think we're going to extend the picks into the playoffs as well. The last couple of years we've been doing this. We've stopped at regular seasons, but I think I'm going to go ahead and add playoffs in as well for both NCAA and NFL. So as you can see, the lineup, all of our friends from all of our different shows. You got our wrestling guy, Steven and Greg. You got the racing guy, Tommy Boy, our baseball, and our hockey guys, the Source and Tim. So check those shows out. You can look at them on BWSPORTS1.com, or you can check that BWSports /tag YouTube, #W, whatever it is, and you can check all those old shows as well. So as I'm looking here, oh yeah, by the way, Indiana Pacers have clinched their group in the in-season tournament play, as well as the Lakers. Just passing on a bit of that information as I'm watching the Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks get it on right now, and Boston is up. What is that? 58-42. So first game of the week, we have another one of those rivalry games. We have the 16th ranked Oregon State Beavers. Everybody loves a Beaver. And versus at Oregon, number 6 Oregon, 10-1. Oregon is sitting right out of that top 4, waiting for one of those guys to stumble, along with Florida State, just sitting out there on the outside looking in, waiting for those top guys to stumble. As you can know, one of them is going to lose this weekend, so Oregon is sitting in a really good spot. I felt that if Oregon State would have pulled off that win last week at home in Corvallis against Washington in the rain, it was hard to for those wet Beavers to stop the Huskies in Corvallis last week. So they took the loss, and if they'd have won the game, I'd have probably leaned to them, trying to make the upset in Oregon. I know this is a rival game, but Oregon, I think they have way too many weapons. Bo Nix is right on the heels, if not even, with Michael Penix Jr. for the Heisman. So I don't see them having any stumble, especially when they have so much ahead of them. Oregon State, I think they're going to compete because they're trying to get to one of those New Year's Six Bowls. But we'll see what Oregon State or what they can do with this one. Let's see how the guys in the network thought about it. The Lion is the only one who is brave enough to go with the Beavers. Yeah, man, I'm going to have to stick with the Ducks, man. I want to know what Raphael's prop bet would be on what uniforms the Ducks wear Saturday. That's what I think. I think Dan, get a hold of Raphael, see if that's his prop bet. What uniforms the Ducks are going to wear on Saturday. Then we have another rivalry game as our second game of the week for NCAA. We got the Tar Heels sitting at 8-3, who had a very promising season earlier and stumbled in the middle, and has just kind of putted along ever since, going against a surging NC State team that is ranked 22 in the CFP poll. They're both 8-3. This is both the Battle of Carolina. They're not too far from each other, not as close as NC and Duke, but they're not that far apart. They're all like in a little triangle area. So I'm looking for this one to be not a lot of defense played, but a lot of offense scored. And I am going with State. That's where I'm going with. Let's see, the source. He seems to be up on some of these things, but he's looking pretty good on North Carolina. Yes, their quarterback is going to be in the league one day, but he is not going to do well on this game, I say. Ooh, boy, I got my rhyming on. I think we're going to write these bars down. Yeah, whatever. Let's see. Let's keep it moving. So I mentioned this game earlier. We got the Ole Oak and Bucket. Man, this is a fun one to watch, man. Like I don't really root for either or root against either. Me being a Michigan fan here in the heart of Indiana, I think it's ticklesome that these battles go. And there's another school in Indiana that is very, very famous. It's got a Golden Dome, one of the best, on that top list of 900 wins, almost to the 1,000. But no one really has them in any of these battle wars, so to speak, in Indiana. It's pretty much, if you're on the northern west side of the state, you're Purdue. If you're on the southern east side of the state, you're IU, and they battle. Like, this is great. In basketball, in every sport that they play, this is an absolute gem here in Indiana, and I don't think it's going to be any less of so. They're both 3-8. They both have young quarterbacks, young new coaches, so to speak. So we'll see what goes on here with this particular game. I think it's funny. No, this wasn't the game that it was funny. I will tell you about that game later. So this is what the people thought. Let's see, another good split. I chose to go with the Hoosiers. One, because I know so many young people who are friends with my daughter and family members who are attending Indiana University. So I do know a couple at Purdue more than Indiana, though. So I tend to lean to them. And plus, if I didn't in this game, my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law might not show up for Thanksgiving, but my food is too good for them to hold petty food grudges against me, or basketball grudges against me. So there you have it. Let's see. I think we got one more game. This is our game of the week. You already know we was going to put this game up. Did you not think I was going to put this game up? Did you ever think that I was going to make them equal to us? Yeah, I made their square small. Lucky I put it on there anyway. As you can see, I have no O's. Took that right on out of there. You got OSU, the second-ranked team in the country. You probably have the best wide receiver in the country who's probably going to go top 5 in the draft, who might end up with my coach next year in the NFL. Who knows what the hell this is going to turn out to be. But, man, it's a stout defense. I think Henderson, the running back, is back playing. So it's not going to be – I think it's going to be not blowouts that we've seen the last 2 years. I think this is going to be a more trenches game. I don't know what the weather is going to be like. But if you look at the bottom, the line is, 3 for Michigan. So at home, and this is the first time in God knows how long that we've been favored in the game against them. So it's going to be great. You got the guys who were spearheading this evidence that has not yet been proven. Yes. Yeah, I know. Where there's smoke, there's fire. But you got to have the fire to lead to the smoke. But we ain't seen neither one. So, but anyway, so you got, man, there's just so much I could talk about, and I don't really want to get into it because I got NFL on, and I can just sit here and talk about it all day. Let's just think what the people think. What the people think. This is what the people think. I kind of knew that one was going to pick that. But this is okay. It's okay. Nah, I'm just talking shit. There was no rate. I'm interested, though, but I like it. Looks like the Notre Damers are sticking close to home. So, there you have it. That's what we got. I'm excited for the game. You love it? The game. You know what? And hold on. I'm going to take a side note. You know what? Let's take this down. Take a side note. I'm a fan of Gus Johnson. I like Gus Johnson a lot. He tickles me. I think my wife says his spirit animal is a turtle. And I think it's absolutely great. I love Gus Johnson. He gets you excited. gets you fired up about the game. But, bro, can you hate anymore or polish the knob of them anymore? World famous, and then your excuse was because the dude won an Olympic medal in front of Hitler? Come on, Gus. Come on, Gus. I know you're probably not going to watch this, but if you did, I'm be like, come on, Gus. Stop the hate, man. Stop the hate. Like, you're just throwing shots out. You refuse to use the word allegations. That's what the legal people do to stop from getting sued. You say the word allegation. You're not doing it. And I don't want to not be a fan, Gus. Come on, Gus. I need you to step it up, Gus. Stop the hate. Bitch against everybody. You know what? Where's it at? Stop the hate, Gus. Stop the hate. I'm like, you hate more than Paul Feinbein, bro. Like, I mean, at least he's real about it. It's like, you be sneaky about your hate. But I'll be catching up. All right. So I'm done with my rant on Gus Johnson. Gus Johnson. All right, so we're going to get back to what we were doing. So that was our network NCAA Doc Sports picks of the week. Check them out. Make your picks. Match them against our picks. See if your picks are better than our picks. Right now, you got to match your picks against my picks because my picks will be the best picks. I'm going to stop talking shit because it'll take one weekend and I could be in the last place just like that. So, ready, set, NFL. A lot going on in the NFL. More exciting than college right now, but a lot more going on in the NFL. Let's see what is happening in the NFL, what I got on here. Oh, yes. Steeler fans. My friends, my fellow Steeler fans, my friends, Mike Tomlin has now done what he should have done weeks ago. Matt Canada has been relieved of his duties. He will no longer be calling the offensive plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we just might have over a 400-yard game. Amazing. Yeah, with that crap last week against Cleveland, I know Myles Garrett and those boys or those men over there are really good defense. But the way you let that rookie quarterback, but I guess that has nothing to do with the offense, but we didn't get anything. Like, it was bad. And Najee Harris, I'm going to say this to you, bro. You mad about how the offense is going and you're tired of this rut, but listen, you're a part of that rut. This rookie, Warner, has come in and taken your job. He is running harder than you are. He is playing the game harder and better than you are. This ain't Alabama, bro. This is the NFL. You can be like Shaq Leonard and get relieved of your duties because you are complaining about somebody who is doing it better than you. Like Shaq Leonard, I mean, that's terrible, bro. I mean, you mad. I mean, I understand it sucks for Indianapolis Colts people because they like him. He's a good dude. Yes, he's in the community, blah, blah, blah. But you not being on the field, being injured, being suspended, all these type of things came to this conclusion that this young man is playing ahead of you and he's playing better than you. And your disgruntlement of that, only thing Irsay is going to do is get rid of you. And that's exactly what he did, was got rid of you. I saw it coming. I figured it would have been a trade at the end of the year or just let him go at the end of the year. But I guess they was like, nah, we ain't going to do that. We said we ain't going to do that. So we got to let him go. Yes, blame Canada. I will blame Canada because we haven't had a 400-yard passing game since Canada's been there. Ben Roethlisberger was the last one, and Canada was there. He was it. He was the last one. Since him, we have nothing. It's terrible. It's terrible. But, so we talked about Tomlin was still there. He said it was his decision and his decision alone, no other outside influences. This is the first time that the Steelers organization has fired a coach in season. So we'll see how this turns out. The play call duties are going to switch over to two of the defensive coaches. One is going to handle day-to-day operations and practice and things like that, and one of them is going to make calls on game day, but ultimately final decisions come down to Coach Tomlin. So in the future, we're probably going to be looking at names for offensive coordinator. I think Pittsburgh wants to open it up a little bit more. They might go after a quarterback. They might want to try to do something with Kenny Pickett into trade rumors or something like that. But I would be looking at Byron Leftwich. I would be looking at there was a couple other young black coordinators that are on the list. And, Mike Tomlin is one of those guys who follows those Dungy roles and try to make sure that he has an adequate, diverse staff. So I'm looking for Mike Tomlin to explore some of those. And, the Pittsburgh organization has been the forefront, the leaders of all of that diversity anyway. So that's what we're looking there. A couple more things before I get into those games. Denver Broncos, watch out, folks. They now have the longest winning streak in the NFL. I think it's 6 games, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 6 games with their game last week. They both of those teams were on winning streaks. Denver took that game, so now has the longest winning streak in the NFL. Defense has held them up the last couple weeks, and now the offense is starting to pick up pace. Wilson is starting not to turn over the ball, not to do ridiculous decisions. He started to link up a little bit with Judy. So I wouldn't be surprised if Denver is in the wild card conversation here in a couple weeks as the season starts to tighten up. Something where we knew what was happening all along, and just when was it going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to be to this extreme. Zach Wilson from the Jets has been benched, but breaking news, it's beyond benching. They damn near sent him to the practice squad. He is QB3. QB3 is, an injury from another player on the field, bringing over practice squad and getting you out of here. So Zach Wilson, my wife said they gave him every possible opportunity to succeed, even after Aaron Rodgers came in and had that injury that we wasn't looking for. But they still gave him opportunities. Solomon still gave him opportunities, but you have no choice but to get that Zach Wilson experiment out of there. But I'm not sure if we talked about it last week. I think it came in right after Burrow is done for the season. What does that mean for Cincinnati? Being a contender in conversation, but not on paper because he was injured. But as he got healthy, you can see Cincinnati starting to roll. But now him being out for the season, what's next for Cincy? Let's see here. What is next? I guess the question is, are the top 4 NFC teams the top 4 teams in the NFL? That question you can answer on the page. I will actually try to post that later on while I'm sitting down watching basketball games. That is the question of the evening. Is the top 4 NFC teams, what is that? Philly, San Francisco, Detroit Lions, and is it Seattle or the Dallas Cowboys? But are they the top 4 teams in the league? What Philly did with KC the other night, it's hard to say who's what and who's where and who's why. But I like these top 4 teams in the NFC. I don't see a whole lot. There, at least 2 of them are probably 2 of the most complete teams with San Francisco and Philly. But then you got Detroit, who's looking really good, is coming up, is playing good in these big games. So I like this, but this is a conversation I think we can have a little longer. I'll see if I'll try to post it up. If not, I'll get it done tomorrow. But it'd be a good conversation to have watching all these football games. A lot of these teams are playing in the next few days too. So check them out. All right, I think that's it for NFL. Yep, I think he's making milkshakes. You better make me one, or I'm gonna come down there. I will. You know, I like milkshakes. But anyway, tea, folks. It's Thanksgiving Eve. Drinking tea. Now tomorrow. Okay, maybe even after the show, but tomorrow it's a different story. Doc Sports, BW Sports, NFL picks of the week. Once again, brought to you by Doc Sports. Text hashtag BWSports2 29022 for your free $60 in picks. NFL games. First game's up. Ooh, I guess I should have showed you the power rankings before I got to the game. So I always forget about the power rankings. Here we go. Philly, 49ers, Chiefs, Lions, Ravens, Cowboys, Dolphins, Browns, Jaguars, Bills. That is your power. Like, all of these little memes over here are supposed to be moving. Google Slides said I could add memes to my slides, but when I do my slides, they were all moving. But now that I'm on the show, they're not moving. But it's okay. I probably don't have the power. But you can see them. All right, game one. 49ers 73, Seahawks 6-4. This is a big matchup. San Francisco will go up 2 games. Seattle can tie it up at the division. So this game is a pretty good, pretty important game. I think it's going to be a really good game. 2 good defenses. So we'll see how it goes. The line is -7 for San Francisco. So it should be good on the road. Let's see what the neighborhood people thought. See, this is supposed to be Shannon Sharp shaking his head going, nope, because no one, and I mean no one, picked Seattle. So thought I'd have a little fun with it. I was excited to see these memes work or these GIFs work in the show slides, but they didn't, so it hurt my heart. So we got them up here. We got Cincy and the Bengals hosting the Steelers. Reason I put this game up, Steelers have a chance to redeem themselves. First game without Matt Canada. Try to get back in that conversation with Baltimore and Cleveland. I think they still have an outside chance of, they're going to get 500, but they still have an outside chance of being one of those wild card teams. I don't like the way this is going for Cincy. So you already know where I was going. So, but this is where the network goes. Steven is the only guy holding out for the Bengals. Everybody else is going for the steel curtain. I'm expecting a big game out of J.J. Watt and Highsmith. I'd like to see how this offense is going to look different from Canada. So this will be a good game to see where we're going to go with that. Next game up, I like to throw my hometown in there, and they're hosting the Bucks. This should be an exciting game. Baker Mayfield has not been playing great lately, but he has looked good this season. So the Bucks are coming off of a decent-looking game. The Colts are coming off a bye week, looking rested. Jonathan Taylor is starting to fit seamlessly into the offense. Gardner Minshew is looking like it's Minshew mania. So I like the Colts in this endeavor. I think if the weather, I wonder if this is going to be an open dome game. I don't know, but I'm going with the Colts along with Steven and Greg. Other people are going for the Pirates. Yes, I know they're Buccaneers, but guess what a Buccaneer is? It's a pirate. Knowledge is power. All right, next game up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars 73 and the Texans at 6-4. The Colts fans are going to be watching this game quite closely. It's another one of those games where the division leader can put some space between themselves and the rest and the next competitor, which would happen to be the Texans. Jaguars win this game on the road to give them 2 games up in the division. The Houston Texans win this game at home, and they're falling even with the Jaguars. I like Trevor Lawrence, and what they're doing over in Jacksonville. I'm more a fan of their colors than the team itself, but Jacksonville is trying to take control of this division. But don't look too fast, because the Houston Texans are playing great ball. I mean, it's awesome to see what this rookie quarterback is doing. He's probably solidified himself as the offensive rookie of the year. I like this matchup. This is going to be a good matchup heading forward for years in the AFC South. And you're not going to be able to leave out the Colts in that conversation as well with Anthony Edwards when he comes – Anthony Edwards. When Edwards comes back from his injuries next season, it's going to be this is going to be a division with young quarterbacks, kind of like how Baltimore is, where they're going to grow with the leagues, with the teams. Look at this. See, he heard me. Milkshake. I think my strawberry got stuck in my straw. Oh, stuck in my eyeballs. But anyway, great milkshake, boys. They have banana in it. Is that strawberry, chocolate, and banana? That is amazing. Do you like how my palate is? I can just pick up all those grapefruits, all that great flavor. But anyway, let's see what the people thought for this game. Another even split. The Jaguars, you got the Lion, Tommy Boy, Steven, and Tim. And the source, Greg, and myself are liking the Texans. So that was our last game of the evening for NFL picks for the network. So make sure, again, you check out mybookie.ag if you want to place those bets. Be good for you. Check them out. Check your picks against our picks and see how your picks do. Even see how our picks do. So there you have it. That's all I got for this Wednesday, November 22nd, Thanksgiving Eve. I want to make sure that I give my thanks to all the people that are important to me in my life. I give thanks for my wife. I give thanks for my children who keep me young. I give thanks for all of the great personalities here at BW Sports One that are giving you guys great content. I give thanks for all of you guys tuning in and watching us and keeping us on. This is our 5th season. So I'm excited that we are still able to do this. I give thanks for it. I give thanks for me being in good health. You know what I mean? I'm knocking on 50's door, a couple surgeries, you know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed and I feel thankful. You know, in the last couple of weeks, we have lost a lot of people who are close to us. I know Dan and myself, closer, more his family, is dealing with a loss that we had this past week. Miss Tammy Lucas, Auntie Graham, if you know her much, she passed earlier later on last week. So we want to make sure that we, give our condolences out to them. But then we also want to give thanks to our relationships and of the friends and the people that we meet and the lives that we touch. So don't ever feel that you're too big. Don't ever feel that you're too small. Make sure that your light shines on everyone that breaks positive energy from you. So thanks again for tuning in. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I know my friends appreciate you too, so won't you appreciate them? These are all of our good friends, our good sponsors, the people who allow us to come on and kick it with you. Elite Performers. Checkered. We'll see. I got over it because I can't see that. That is little. There we go, because the list is long. We got Elite Performance, Checkers Life Customs. You can bet that. Doc Sports Picks, MyBookie, The Fighter's Friend, The One's Kitchen, Interby Sportswear, and Southern Indiana Combat Productions. And last but not least, deals, discounts, stores, and more. So make sure you check those out. Tell them that the boys of BW Sports One sent you. And if you wanted to check out some more of our shows, some more of me, some more Dan, some more Sean, some more of the source, Tim, and all of us, Steve, and all of us doing our good stuff, check out us at bwsports.com and over our YouTube page, YouTube/BW Sports, and it'll bring us right up. So I want to make sure that you all have a great holiday, a great Thanksgiving. I appreciate what it's for. Enjoy the time with your family because you only have so much time with them. Time is the one thing that we can't get back. So make sure you spend it with quality people. That's the word from the one. The one is out. Holler. I don't like that. I'm going to have to come up with a new catch ending thing. I need a new ending. I think that's going to be a contest. The one's new.